Welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Tuesday, and we are here on YouTube. We're going to have a great show today. We've got a very lovely book author on the show with us today. I am so excited. I'm looking forward to talking to her about how she got her inspiration for her book. So, without further ado, let's get this puppet started in here. First thing I want to do is give a shout out to my mentor and spiritual leader, Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt has been with me for 30 plus years. And I tell you, being with somebody for 30 years is no small task. I tell you, we have traveled this country together, and Dr. Hunt has mentored me and been with me, and I pray for him quite often as he prays for me. So if you've got a mentor and a leader, please pray for him. Keep them lifted up. Keep them encouraged, because it's a benefit to you as well as a benefit to them as well. Okay? So now, that being said, let's jump over here. I want to invite everyone to go over to my website, ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, I want you to scroll down and take a look at all of my advertisers. Now, some of my advertisers have been with me for a very long time. They make it possible for me to do what we do here on the Ask Dr. Ron show, but I want to highlight some of them. The first one I want to highlight is RRJ Webb. If you are interested in starting your own website, he is the person that can help you do it. Also want to highlight Sir Synergy. Mr. Osei has been on the show many times, and I tell you, if he can help you figure out how to save money on your energy bill. He works with solar panels and clean energy to help you save money. And there's also some income opportunities involved with dealing with Sir Synergy. So you click on any of the tabs or any of the flyers, and it'll take you right over to their website. And when you get over there, you'll be able to see all the information. Now, Port Again Sam, I tell you, if you like good wines and spirits, Sam brings in some of the best from all over the world. And I tell you, they're all exclusive. If you go over to Port Again Sam, you ain't going to want to have nothing from no place else ever again. Because I tell you, boy, it is off the hook. And I try to go up and visit Sam quite often because I just need to know what he got in stock. I tell you, his stuff be good. That's all I'm going to say. You need to get over there and get your wine tasting so you can find out how good it is. And last but not least, Prince Hunter Financial Group. Now, we had him on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he is offering 4 free classes to anybody who is interested in learning how to trade the stock market, the Forex market. Call him up. Tell him you want your 4 free classes. I'm telling you, it is something that will encourage you to want to get involved in. Now, the stock market has been up and down, but, anybody will tell you can make money if the market is going up or if it's going down. You can make money going either direction, but you got to take them classes so you figure out how those things work. So definitely check out all of my advertisers, but like I said, this was just to name a few. Now, I'm so excited today to have this lovely lady come on the show with me. I tell you, she's inspired me. Now, I'm not an author. I can't write a book, but I can't do everything. But this young lady, when I looked at her book, I said, maybe one day I'm gonna have to get me a ghostwriter and somebody that can sit down and write down my thoughts. I'm gonna probably have to get them drunk in order to be able to understand what I'm saying. But, I'm sure this young lady didn't have any problem putting her thoughts on paper. So for the welcoming her for the very first time to the show, Miss Adriane Adkins. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You have such a beautiful smile. I'm so glad to have you on the show. I mean, there's so many crazy things going on in the world. To see somebody with a beautiful smile is definitely a pleasure. So I know this is your first time here. So why don't you tell
Hmm.
us about yourself? Tell us who you are. Tell us about what you do. People are curious.
I am Adriane Adkins. I am an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. I'm in the financial service industry. I am in the sales industry, and I'm a consultant as well. And now I'm an author. I am a mother of five, three of my own and two bonus children, and I have been married for the past 9 years. Good, good nine
A
years.
good 9 years. You
Uh,
said
a good nine
okay.
years.
Then you had to emphasize that a good 9 years. Okay. All right.
Mhm. um, and that's what I do. I raise my children. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a woman of God. I love God, and that's kind of what where I am. Why I am where I am today.
Okay. All right. Now you said an entrepreneur a couple of times. So, what kind of entrepreneur are you?
So I help with my financial services business. I help families establish life insurance. I do retirement planning. I kind of build out budgets and debt relief programs. And then with the sales management, I help businesses and their sales department, whatever their bottom line is, whatever they're looking for as far as revenue and what they want to bring in, I help them to strategize and put together a plan to achieve their sales goals. And then with consulting now, I am a faith coach. And so I'm having faith activation sessions. And those sessions basically break down the foundation of what faith is, what areas are you struggling with faith in your life right now, and how can we come up with some strategies and create strategies to better help you in those areas.
Okay. All right. So now you operate in all these businesses, all day, 7 days a week, or do you, it's like, how do you approach that many things that you do?
So I set a schedule for myself on certain days. I only do financial services on certain days. I have a scheduler where I schedule my sessions only on certain days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I try to have at least one day off where I'm not focusing on anything, but that really never works for me. But I try to as much as I can. But I do have what I do. I have a lot of flexibility because again, I have children, so I have to have that time. So I kind of with being an entrepreneur and a mother, I I have to be strict with my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Has it always been easy? No, but that's what I really work hard on sticking to a schedule. So I kind of just schedule everything out. I don't do every single thing every single day.
Okay. So you say you're a mother of how many? You said.
Five, three, I birthed myself, and two, I was blessed with.
Okay, you said bonus children. I heard that. That's what I was
Yes.
getting to. So I was like, how you get bonus children? Okay, I don't know if you can share that information or not, but
Oh well,
how?
when I met my husband, he had two
Okay,
children before me,
okay,
and yeah,
okay,
but I love him like my own, and that's one of the reasons why I chose my husband. Well, I guess he chose me, but one of the reasons why I really liked him a lot.
okay. All right.
They helped him
Okay.
out.
They helped him out.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. He gonna see this video, right?
he knows.
Say he knows. Okay. All right. That's what's up. So, being a parent, in today, I know that's gotta be challenging. When you say you're an entrepreneur and a parent, I'm assuming they're young, young people. So that requires activities dealing with young people, and then you got to try and work out all of your details of how to handle your clients and your customers. So are you constantly micromanaging?
Yes.
You said yes.
So my so the age range with my children, the oldest being 17, the youngest is 6.
Okay.
So you can imagine the dynamic and the things you have to micromanage and just the difference in the age range. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I do micromanage. I have to. Um, but like I said, I'm still growing and learning every day.
Okay.
So, I mean, you already know parenting didn't come with a
Not at
handbook.
all.
So I have to learn as I
Yeah.
go. And I think I'm doing a pretty okay
Well, that's
job.
good. That's good. So, now with the children, do they help you with any of your businesses? I'm just curious. Are you making them entrepreneurial at this time?
So we talk about entrepreneurship, and when like I'm doing a Juneteenth festival this weekend. So my children will be there helping me sell my books, promote my brand, and they're taking different shifts. They're excited about it, excited
Okay.
about taking shifts and helping me. So I do. Even in the process of writing my book, I share some things with them. I'll read it to them, so they know they're very. I believe I don't feel like everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur because everybody is different, got the different characteristics. But I believe I have about three
Okay.
entrepreneurs. The other two,
So
I
you
don't
don't
know.
know. Okay. Yeah.
um,
So now you mentioned financial services. Let's talk about that a little bit. So what kind of financial services? I know you mentioned what insurance. You said.
Life
Okay.
insurance.
So you want to talk about that a little bit?
So when I so the type of life insurance I do life insurance with living benefits. I see the benefit in that because we go through things in our lives. We never know when we're going to have a heart attack. We never know when we're going to have a stroke. We never know when we're going to deal with a serious illness. And so what I do is I educate families on the importance of having life insurance, and not just so when you pass, for your family gets rich off of you. Not just because of that, if you have a family, like for me, for example, if I was to pass, I wouldn't want my husband to have to worry about taking on the house by yourself. So if I have a substantial life insurance policy, it could possibly pay off the house, or it could help take care of the children, send them to college, do things like that. And so I sit down with families and encourage them and educate them on the importance of coverage. And even life insurance is building generational wealth as well.
Mm,
Because when people do pass, whether we like it or not, we have a day we're born, a day we
that's
pass.
right.
If something were to happen, when that time does come and that happens, you can put yourself in a very good position by having a family member insured.
Yeah.
So I talk about that. I talk about retirement planning. A lot of people put off retirement, but the time is coming. We're not staying young forever. You're going to move into retirement. What does your retirement look like? You need to be thinking about that now as a young person. What is it going to look like when I retire? You don't want to work forever. And so I kind of put that in the forefront and I educate on that. And then on the flip side, I talk about budgets and debt relief. It's very, very important to live, on a budget and to know what exactly is coming out of your account every single month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important to do that if you want to grow and be successful. So I help to build out a budget, and if you have a lot of debt, I help you to find strategies and ways to break down that debt.
Okay. So the $10 million question that I have is, looking back over the last 2, 3 years, we had a major catastrophe in life that nobody saw coming through. Talking about the pandemic. Now,
Yeah.
was that a very difficult time to talk to people about trying to do any type of planning or for survival for people that are still going to be left here, because it's
Mm-hmm.
and then I've heard, now I don't know, you can clarify this if you've heard this or not. I heard insurance companies wasn't trying to pay out for people who passed away from the pandemic. So two questions there. Was it a difficult time to do business, and did the insurance companies pay off?
So from my standpoint, from my experience, the insurance companies did pay out.
Okay.
Of course, they it was a this crisis and COVID, it was a shock to
Right.
everyone. So you can only prepare so much for certain things to happen, right? So just like we were in a state of shock, they were in a state of shock.
Mm-hmm.
So just like we had to figure out how we were going to survive and get through it, the same thing with the companies. And so a lot of people were definitely hard on insurance companies, but they had to understand that everybody was in the same boat. We were all thrown in here together.
Mm-hmm.
So just like you had to figure it out, allow the insurance company to figure it out. Now, when it comes to business, I did not struggle in business. I actually did really
Okay.
well, surprisingly, in the beginning of the pandemic. Yeah, because a lot of people, I feel like sometimes tragedies have to happen for people to understand, oh man, I need to have coverage, or my family needs to have coverage. And so I got so many calls, so many emails during that time because they finally realized, oh, maybe I should have
Mm-hmm.
insurance. So in some ways, yeah, you struggle during that time because a lot of people were tight with their money and they didn't know, if they were going to be able to go to work and do and really take care of their family. So life insurance wasn't really on the top of the list to pay. So, I just feel like I had a pretty even ground when it came to that time.
Okay. Yeah. So, did the demographics of life insurance change? Like you said, a lot of people start, reaching out saying, "Hey, I gotta have this. I gotta have this." So I know.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm finna, say it like this. Black folks don't like life insurance because they ain't gonna pay the bill. They'll
No,
tell you, "Oh, sure, baby, sign me up," and then
sign me
right,
up.
and then they're like, "Look." The third month, when they supposed to make that premium payment, they be like, "Oh, baby, my car broke down. I can't make this premium no more." Uh,
And then you log on social media and they in Miami kicking it. Let's be real. Be real.
oh, you say then they down in Miami kicking it. Yeah, and a lot of that went on because they got them stimulus checks, and they thought they was
Hmm.
going, look, it was so funny. Oh my God, those,
People were flying high on those
yeah,
shows.
people were going down to Walmart buying, 82-inch TV screens, and they ain't even got a wall 82 inches in their house. I was looking at folks walking out of
Exactly.
Walmart with TVs like, doggone well, you ain't got no wall in your house to put that on, and it ain't your house, so that's the other thing. Come on now. So,
And that's trying to sell the house, the TV now.
right. So understanding, black economics is important,
Hmm.
because, unfortunately, black folks don't think long term. They think immediate gratification, you know.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to people, did they create policies and plans for, black families that they said, well, they'll keep a hold of this for a little while? Or was it the same formula for everybody across the board?
Um, I wouldn't say it was the same formula. I think it is definitely a different formula. But even in that process of getting the life insurance and educating, you kind of see, if you've been in this business for a while, you kind of see what a person is going to do and what they're not going to do by their
Mm-hmm.
conversation. I don't necessarily sit down with people and say, "Hey, they're going to buy my product," and I really come to educate you. And in doing that education, I'm seeing who you are, who are you a person, what are your habits, what do you like, what type of family do you have, how many children do you have. I'm doing my research just as long as well as you're doing your
Okay.
research. And so that's in every demographic. But I did realize maybe I need to, in those cases, start you off at a smaller policy.
Mm.
I may know you need a larger policy, but I'll start you at a smaller one because now I need to kind of gradually educate you and get you up to where
Where you
you
need
really
to
need to
be.
be.
Yeah. It's so funny. We talk about insurance. And back in the old days, I'm talking about way back in the days, they used to have an insurance man that used to come around to everybody's house. The little, I think it was a little Gerber man or something. Used to sell everybody a little Gerber policy that wasn't worth no more than
Hmm.
$1,000. And they got a Gerber policy on everybody's child. Grandma had a policy on everybody. you know, and you don't see those kind of things because you know it ain't safe for nobody to go knocking on nobody's door right now trying to offer up any policies, but it was still, you know, something that was made available, and Grandma understood how important it was to have that little, you know, 500. Now it might cost her $100,000 to keep that $1,000 policy because it, you know, because education was not associated with it. She gonna be then paid on that $1,000 policy for at least 59 years that you alive, you know, and and now, you know, the cost of everything is so much higher now, you know, and Grandma would go in that little shoebox and pull out, oh, he did, okay, here. You know, she had that little policy sitting there for $1,000, you know. So is the industry still capitalizing off of people's lack of knowledge, or has it gotten any better? And I hate to put you on the spot. I know you can't speak for the whole industry, you know, but for what you do, you know, have you seen a change or something that's positive that will say, after we get off this show, I'm gonna go down there and call her up, and I need to get some of that stuff she got.
Well, what I will say is you do have your people out here that capitalize on your
Okay.
ignorance. That's just the life we live in. In any industry, there is somebody waiting to capitalize on what you don't know. But speaking for myself, I'd rather have you educated. I don't want anybody to make an uneducated decision with anything dealing with me.
Mm-hmm.
So before you purchase anything from me, before you do any business with me, I need to make sure you know exactly what this is, how it benefits you, and it's just not about me. If it was about me, I would be all in it for the money,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I'm not. I'm in it for because I know the importance. I know why you need it. I know that for me, with my family, if I was to pass away, I don't want to leave my children here struggling. So I kind of, when I meet another family that's in the same situation as me, I just pour out my education and my empathy for them, not just to get over on you and take your money, but let's look around us. The world is crazy.
Yeah,
You have to just be you have to be careful on who you choose to do business
that's so
with,
true.
and that's with
That's
anything.
so true. So we talked about the insurance. We talked about you being a mother. What did we leave out? Did we leave anything out? You mentioned like three or four, five things in the beginning. I'm trying to keep up with them. What
A sales
a
professional.
sales professional? Okay, so what is that
Hmm.
about?
So of course you sell life insurance. At one point, I did sell solar
Oh,
panels.
did you?
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah, I did. So I do see the importance of saving money and investing in solar panels. Um, I still kind of work in the consulting field in that area, but I do right now. I am selling. I do sales for a radio station
Okay.
now, helping businesses market their businesses and advertise. And so that's just a little bit of what I do as far as a sales professional. And then with being a faith coach, I set up appointments on my scheduler and I meet with you and I talk to you about what's going on in your life. What areas do you feel like you're lacking in faith? And because of the things that I've been through, because of the seminars I've been through, because of the education I've taken in, I'm able to help you to come up with a strategy to be disciplined, to activate your faith and live in action versus saying you have faith. So my sessions are faith activation sessions. So you won't leave a session feeling like, oh, she just talked my ear off. I didn't learn anything. No, you're walking away with actionable items to apply to your life. Now, what you do with the items when you leave me, that's on you. But I'm going to do my part in holding you accountable so I can see. My job is to help and see success. So if you're not successful, I'm not
Okay.
successful. So that's the biggest thing.
Man, that's a perfect segue. You say faith consultant. Look what I found. Woo! Look at that. Y'all see that? That's the
Look
cover.
real
That's
good,
the
real good.
cover of this young lady's book, and it's called Faith Activated. Okay, and I just got my copy. You know, so y'all need to figure out how you're gonna get yours. But
You need me to tell you www AdrianeJAdkins.com. You see it right there
There
on
you
the
go. It's
screen.
right there on the screen. So now, you being an author and the title of your book is Faith Activated. Now, are these stories or directly related to what you have done as a faith counselor? Is this a workbook that can help you, steer people into trying to find? Because faith is one of my favorite. It's actually a gift. And
Mhm.
if you understand about the gift of faith, it requires a multitude of things in order to activate your faith. First of all, you got to believe that it exists. And then like the Bible says, faith without works is totally dead. So that
Mhm.
means you got some stuff to do in order to be able to activate your faith. And I'm not fitting to tell your book. I'm gonna let you tell your story about faith because I can talk about it now. Because when you get old, you got to have a little faith in your life. To keep
Mhm.
getting up the next day. So how did you being or you present tense being a person who's a counselor that works people into faith action lead to this book?
So with this, I had a lot of inspiration and motivation to write this book because of what was going on in the world around me, what was going on in the news, what was going on in people's personal lives around me. In the book, you will see different stories. I have a little bit of my story, and then I have different people that I interviewed to see what faith looks like for them and why they feel like their faith was activated in the situations that they were in. And the reason I put those stories in the book is because I wanted people to read the book and be able to relate.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like we all go through, not even feel like I know we all go through similar situations at one point in time in our lives. Our lives are built off of seasons, seasons where we're up, seasons when we're down. And what I found in my research and studying, it's a lot of people that have no idea what faith looks like, how to activate their faith. They're living in the season making permanent decisions. And case in point, people committing
Mm-hmm.
suicide, people falling into depression. And I feel like if they had a basic foundation on where to start, like we see and we read in the Bible, it says that faith comes by the hearing of the word,
Mm-hmm.
right? But a lot of people don't. A lot of people are intimidated about opening up the Bible. It's a lot of different words in there that don't make sense. A lot of things, and it can be very intimidating. So what I thought about for myself is what can I create that can be foundational, simple, easy to read, that drives a person to want more, to read the word, and to grow their faith. And so for this book, I would more so say it's a devotional and a guide to building a foundation for faith and now seeking more knowledge in the Word of God.
All right now. It's something you said that I want to add this to the conversation. Like you said, so many people are afraid to pick up the Bible and begin the journey of understanding what's in the Bible, understanding, the benefits of looking through the Bible. And I used to hear, because I was that person myself all the time, they used to say, "Well, I ain't ready yet. I got to get right." You know,
Hmm.
you ever heard that? I got to,
I heard a teenager. I heard a teenager recently say, "I'm young.
yeah,
I'm gonna wait till about 30 to think about
yeah.
my relationship with God." Like, what do you
All right,
mean?
because perception is everything, and you perceive
Yeah.
the things in the Bible as an instruction manual that you need later in life, more so than you.
Hmm.
Because I'm still young, I don't need that right now. That kind of thing. But I'm here to tell you, and I hope people understand when I say this: you will never ever be ready. You just got to dive in, the deep end. Don't even jump in the shallow end. Just dump in the deep end and begin the process of trying to understand, the words that are in that book. And the more you try to understand, the more the words will become alive to you.
Mm.
Okay? Because it has to become alive in you and to you in order for it to be a benefit for you. Okay, I know that's a mouthful right there, but people delay, they hinder, and they don't get it. This is a perfect opportunity to tell a story. Can I tell a story?
Tell a
Tell a
story.
story. Okay. I was a young man, and having a midlife crisis, 30 years old. And my grandfather lived in the Bahamas. And he was like 100+ years old. I mean, some people remember me telling this story before. But I was living in New Orleans, I was a little young whippersnapper, doing everything wild and crazy as young whippersnappers do. So I woke up one day, I said, okay, I'm going to Bahamas. I'm going to sit at the feet of my grandfather, who's 100 years old, and try and glean some wisdom from him because he's been on the earth 100 years. He got to know some stuff. Okay? So I go running down there, and I had been in and out of the Bahamas many times before because I've been in the entertainment industry, most of my life. And, I've traveled the world, so I've seen a lot of things and done a lot of crazy things. So I'm there, and, my grandfather had a way with words. He was like, boy, what you want? So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, this is my opportunity. So I'm like, you've been on the earth 100 years, and I trusted him, he's my grandfather, So I figured he's going to tell me something good, right? I'm finna get the keys to the knowledge of the world through the eyes of my grandfather. So he said, boy, read the Bible. I was so heartbroken. I was like, I didn't travel all the way down here to find out some powerful gold nuggets about life, and all you gonna tell me is read the Bible? I was hurt. I couldn't understand what he was saying to me at that particular time. I was like, I don't believe it. So I went out and got drunk, had fun.
What?
Because I could not comprehend, that he was giving me the understanding of life in those very simple words. Boy, study the Bible. Now, later in life, after I had a couple of more roller coaster rides, through this way, that way, through the woods, then it came back to me. He told you what to do, but I couldn't comprehend it. So when I finally began to look into the Bible and began to understand what the Bible had to say, then it became alive in me. It became alive to me. And I began to understand that, wow, he did give me what I asked for. I just didn't know it, And to this day, I give him credit for imparting that seed in me, because it was a seed, and it had a lot of fertilizer around it when it went in. But at some point in time, that fertilizer hit the earth, and that seed began to grow. And to this day, I thank him for even setting me on that path to begin to, like, when before I knew it, I was like, oh, now I got it. And that's how life is, because sometimes people will say things to you, they'll plant a seed in you, like, it's so interesting. My son is 30 years old, I set of twins. And, once a month, once every other month, we catch up with each other. And when he was 17 years old, he didn't want to hear nothing I had to say. 17, nothing. He was smarter than me. He knew more than me. He ain't been nowhere in the world, but he knew everything. So now that he has his first child and life experiences that he's been through, he has confessed to me many a times, like, I'm so glad you taught me this and you so glad you taught me that, because now I understand, that you were just trying to help me all along.
Hmm.
So I said all that to say that I'm sure your book will do the same thing for many people that come in contact with this book, especially when you're talking about activated faith. So let me ask you this question. What was the one thing or group of things that caused you to put pen to paper to want to write this book? Something had to happen.
I think it started from just self reflection and looking really, really dissecting my life and looking at what was happening in my life and the things that has happened in my life, and how when you're going through the different seasons of your life, you really don't. I wasn't really paying attention to what God was really doing. I saw it, but it was kind of surface based, right? But when I went back and I really said, you know what, I'm going to really focus on self aware, being self aware, growing and learning. And when I started dissecting, okay, who am I? I think that was the first thing that really made me start this book was, who am I? What am I here for? What is my purpose? What is the plan that God has for my life? And going through that season, I knew I couldn't be the only one that had those questions, and I knew that my answers, just like you just said with your grandfather, when he told you to read the Bible. When you think about different things that we use, this system that you're on right now with me, you had to learn how to use it,
That's
right?
right.
You had to learn how to put it together and bring me on and broadcast. But that's the same when it comes to you as an individual. You have to learn who you are, learn why you're here, learn your purpose. Where do you learn that at? Where's the roadmap? In the
Right.
Bible.
That's right.
And so a lot of people are struggling in their lives. A lot of people are not where they want to be, where they need to be, because they haven't opened up the Bible and read the directions.
That's true. That's true.
And then people that have you applied them to your life? Have you activated them in your life? It's one thing about reading and knowing and having the knowledge. It's about implementing it and putting it in action.
That's exactly
And
right.
so that's why I wrote this book. Okay, we could talk about it. Let's be about it and be in action and actually live it out. It's yes, it's for other people, but it was a lot for me too. Because even going through this season of even having the book out, even writing the book, I've been going through roller coasters. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why am I going through this? But I understand there's no growth with no test.
That's right. Yeah. Now let me ask you a question. Now, you said you're a mother of five. Do you
Mm.
think your children would benefit from the words that you have put in this book, or is it geared towards older people, you would say? Okay.
Everybody. Everybody. I feel that faith should be taught at a young age. If it's taught at a young age, if you're given a roadmap at a young age, then you have no choice but to be successful in your older years.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, and now that's why I sit down. I read chapters with my children, and then I read the word with my children. It's
Mm-hmm.
daily. You need to know why you're here. You need to know why the word is important. So yes, definitely,
Mm-hmm.
children, young adults, everybody. It's for everybody.
Yeah, I totally agree. When my twins were small, it was so funny. They spent the first 2 3 years of their life, 4 years of their life in church circles. That's where I was at all the time because I used to work in ministry. And you probably can't tell now, but I used to I used to, I used to travel to all the conferences. I used to drag them kids up and down the highway all over the place. See, I used to have the video ministry, I guess was what they would call it. So I
Hmm.
would do videotaping of all the conferences. I would be lugging equipment from Chicago everywhere, and kids in tow. So they were always involved, but I'm sure they don't remember none of that stuff now. They'd be like,
But they remember.
they
They remember.
remember?
Cause I was raised like that. I was
Oh,
raised like
baby, please.
sleeping on the pews.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they were.
baby. there every day, all
Yeah,
day. They remember.
yeah. Them kids they were there, you know,
Hmm.
and I know they got a solid foundation. And you know, it's interesting because I know it's a time release capsule that's in them that at various stages of their life things will come back alive to them and they'll be able to understand this, that, and the other because of that. You know,
Hmm.
so I did my part. You know, I kept them as close as I could. Now they grown. My youngest are 30 years old, and my son, you know, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying this. He's more, you know, enlightened because he has a son, and my
Hmm.
daughter, his twin sister, she don't have no children, so she still got a little bit of, you know, hey, you know, that kind of thing going on.
Hmm.
But you know, and that's their life to live. You know,
Yes.
and as they experience things in life, they have the right to make choices, and that's what the Bible
Hmm.
teaches us: make wise choices. You know, so I agree. So would you say that you know the book would be geared towards a female understanding more so than a male understanding? Because you know men are hard headed. I'm gonna say it for us. You know, men are hard headed. We don't always understand, you know, stuff right in our face all the time. You know, so would
Hmm.
you say this will help a male more so or universally? What would you say?
So that's one of the reasons why I interviewed some
Uh
men
oh.
during the process of writing my book. Yeah, I interviewed my father and another male friend that I
Okay.
have. And so I have male perspectives. So definitely men will benefit from this book.
Okay. All right. So you got that perspective in there. I want to give a couple of shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Monica Payne, who's tuned in. I see Cassandra Adkins has tuned in, so I want to give a shout out to them. They're following us on the show today. And a special shout out to Monica because I would not know you if it were not for Miss Monica. Miss Monica is a friend to the show. She has, you know, been a fan. She's come on the show, you know, and she's been, you know, bringing people to me that I definitely appreciate her. And I always got to give her a shout out because I see her name on the screen over here as paying attention. So I didn't want to.
Well,
Go ahead.
let me interject
Okay.
here. I want to give a shout out to Monica as well
Okay.
because Monica is such a help. It is hard to really find people that really genuinely support you and want to see you doing
Mm-hmm.
well. Monica gets me all the way together when it comes to a schedule, when it comes to staying on point, when it comes to really, putting myself out there. And I appreciate
Yeah.
her. I appreciate and love her for
Yeah.
that.
She always busy. That woman be going, boy, night and day. I tell you, boy. Look, I be following her, and I be following people. When I use the word stalking, because I don't always say nothing, you know. But I be
Hmm.
seeing her. She over here, she over there. She doing this, she doing that. She be busy, boy. But that's how you get it done. Being busy. Yep.
Yes.
So once again, give them your website where they can find you at.
You can find me at www.adrianjatkins.com, and it's spelled out and listed on the
There you go,
screen.
right there on the screen. So now,
Mm.
one of the things I want to ask you, what's your next book gonna be like? You know, we know this one is about. What's the next one gonna be about?
I'm right now in this season. I'm sticking with faith. I'm just gonna do a series of faith in faith in marriage, faith in finances, and I'm just gonna break down those things and show actionable items on what you can do to apply that to your life. So I'm gonna stick right now. I'm gonna stick with faith. That's kind of where I'm going.
Okay,
Uh, Before I do anything, I acknowledge God first, and this is where He has me. So I'm gonna stay
you're
here.
gonna
I'm gonna
stay
stay
right
here
there
for a
for a
while.
while.
Stay right here for a
Okay,
while.
that's what's up. That's a good place to hang out. You know.
Hmm.
So now, I heard you say you were married. So how does your husband support what you're doing right now?
That's a good question. How does he support me? So throughout this whole process of writing my book, he supported me because there were late nights. There were times where I was in meetings for hours with Monica, just working things through. So he supported me and just helping me and encouraging me, and even encouraging me to speak, encouraging me to put myself out there. So I really, really appreciate the support on just his main thing is being my authentic self
Okay.
and just helping me to be that. And so yeah, that's how he supported me.
Okay, that's good. You ain't got to split the money with him, do you?
No, it's no split. It's all together
Okay,
anyways.
all right. All right, yeah, he out there at that Juneteenth celebration. I sold 5 books. I'm gonna need 250. You know.
He's gonna be out there with me
There you
selling
go.
books.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's a good, positive testimony about a family working together. You know, being involved in what's going on. That's a beautiful thing. You know, and that's a success story, especially in this day and age, because sometimes, people don't understand that when you work together, it's easier to build things up and have something of substance when you work together to build things. So I applaud you and your family and your young people in your family, and you all working together to try and make things happen. So where's the Juneteenth celebration going to be at? I know you said you were going to be at a festival or something.
Yeah, I'll be at in Homewood, Flossmoor, the Juneteenth Homewood Flossmoor Fest.
Okay.
So that's gonna be at HF
Oh, at the high
High
school.
School.
Okay. Is it an
Hmm.
outside event, inside event?
Outside
Outside
event.
event. Okay, and I'm assuming they're gonna have vendors and things like that going on.
Yes, they have a lot of vendors, a lot of activities for children, performers. So it's gonna be definitely a good event to attend.
Okay, that sounds good. And it's gonna run 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. How many days is it gonna run?
One day,
Just a one
Sunday,
day.
Sunday
Okay.
only,
All right,
Juneteenth.
because
Yeah.
this year coming up. It's a lot of Juneteenth celebration events going on. Some of them are
Yes.
starting early in the week and running all the way through. So wasn't
Yeah.
sure how long that one is going to run. Is it going to be live music or something like that? Do you know if they're going to have any of that or not?
Yes, they will.
Okay, cool. So now, do
Hmm.
you have any other events coming up after that, or do they have a calendar on your website where you're going to be at?
Not yet. So I have tentative dates on. I am doing a national book tour, and so I will just some states that I plan on attending are Texas, Georgia, Missouri, Washington D.C. I'll be in a lot of different areas. Detroit,
Okay,
Michigan. So those will be upcoming dates coming soon.
okay. All right. So you plan on doing a nice little tour, getting around, huh? I know
Definitely.
that's right. I am not mad at you. Yeah, get out.
You will know my
You
name.
say I will know your. I know your name now. Hey, I'm enjoying it. So I know we got about 10 minutes left in the show. So did we leave out anything that you wanted to cover at this particular time?
um, I don't believe I left out anything. I mean, you asked a lot of good questions. Um, the basis of my book is faith. Really knowing what faith is, finding a foundation in faith, giving hope and direction and a vision to individuals, and just what I do and what I service. If you're lacking vision, if you're lacking faith, if you need to find hope, then I would definitely connect with me so we can do that journey together, go on that journey together. But for the most part, you really asked me the basics of my book. Yeah.
Good, good. Now, a person wanted to if a person wanted to sit down with you and get that
Hmm.
faith counseling that you were talking about in the first segment, how would they do it? They have to go on your website and set up an appointment. What would they do?
So you know what you could do if you are on Facebook, you can join my Faith Activated group.
Okay.
Though that Faith Activated group has links to my scheduler where you can schedule sessions with me, my website information. I am currently updating my website with new ways, so you can contact me on there by sending me a message, and then I'll get back to you with the link and moving forward with what you want to do.
Okay.
Um, so I think the major thing is connecting with me on Facebook. I do have a business page on Facebook, Faith Activated, and I also have a group.
Okay.
And then you also can find me on Instagram as Miss Faith Activated, Miss underscore Faith Activated.
Okay. So if I were, to reach out to you and say, hey, I kind of like how the way you was talking on this. What can I expect to happen in one of your sessions? If I say, okay, I'll bite the bullet. How can you help me? Tell me what you can do to help me.
So I would really, the beginning of the session is really getting to know, even when you schedule, I have a questionnaire that asks you questions about who you are, where you are, what areas do you want to focus on. So before we even get into a session, I'm already looking at your answers, already establishing who you are. I'm a stalker a little bit too, so I'll probably look you up and see, what you have going on so I can better, help you when we do get on our call. When we do get on the call, we'll sit down and talk about like what really is going on in your life, and think and work through strategies that can help you. So my biggest thing is planning.
Mm-hmm.
You perish because you do not have a plan. A lot of people are walking around with no plan. So that's really, really the basis on what is your plan? Do you know who you are? What do you visualize yourself doing and where do you see yourself? So now when I have that, where you are, where you visualize, now I can help create a strategy for you to be successful in that.
Now, would you find that some people have false identities on their social media? Now, what I mean by that is, everybody say, "Well, I'm this, I'm that," and then, they just fronting. Would you say?
What? I call it
Right,
imposters.
exactly.
It's the imposter syndrome. You never I do I can't say I know you based off of social
Right.
media because so many people are not honest and transparent. I I can't say I'm perfect, but I choose to live my life in transparency because I feel like you really can't get help. You can't go anywhere without being transparent and really showing who you are.
Mm-hmm.
There are people, like I just told someone recently, there are people connected to you that God connected directly to you that need to know who you are, and they can't know who you are if you online being an
Yeah,
imposter.
yeah.
So with some people, you always want to be authentic. You always want to, and I feel like even those people that are being fake online, people see authentic. They can tell when you're authentic. So I would say you can kind of read through everything that you see online,
Yeah,
and
I think
yeah.
that's more a woman thing. I know I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that, but because women be putting stuff out there that ain't got nothing to do with them at all. I had a cousin one time. It tickled me so bad. She was posting all kind of crazy stuff, crazy. Made people think she was a wild and crazy girl. Now I know her mom and her father, okay, and I'm sitting there looking at her boy. I said, y'all need to pray for this child because she out there kind of bad.
Mm.
And then she posted something one day. If you think that this is who I really am, y'all don't know me, because I'm not who y'all think I am. And if you calling me, trying to inbox me, talking about, hey, so and so, that ain't even my real name. And I just like, wow.
Yeah, but some people don't take social media seriously either. Um, it's social media. You can choose. I mean, it's your perspective. You want to share your life online, share your life online. If you want to be private, be private. But some people do social media for fun. So you can literally be whoever you want to be to everyone else, and it's just for giggles.
Yeah. Well,
So
I approach social media a little bit differently, and I'm going to throw this gold nugget out there for anybody who takes gold nuggets. Social media is really a marketing tool. If you have
mm,
products, goods, and services that you want people to be aware of, that's the place to do it. You can sit down and put your products out there, put your services out there, and people will see it. Now, whether they'll buy anything or whether they'll participate in anything, that's totally, up to the spur of the moment type situation. But if you do it, in the right way, people will realize this is not a sham. It's not a, a scheme. It's not a disaster getting ready to happen, and that's a good way to approach social media. That's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, even with knowing what when you do have products to sell and you do have people really buy you. So if you're
Yeah.
online and you being authentic and you being who you are, then you'll draw people to what you have to offer. So yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
agree. You should use social media as a tool.
Yeah. Even when it first started, because, um, MySpace back in the day.
Really, MySpace.
I remember when MySpace first came out, everybody was trying to write a hit song on MySpace, post it on MySpace. Some of y'all don't even know what MySpace is, but that's okay. It used to be around at one time. So we got a couple of minutes left on this show, and I always like to ask a couple of questions before we get out of here. The first
Should I
question,
be scared?
huh?
Should I be scared?
No, 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 don't be scared. The first question I always like to ask people is, will you come back and see me again sometime?
Definitely.
Well, thank you. That's one. We got it on tape. See, I can always play the tape when they say, I ain't coming back on your show. No, I got you on tape. So the second thing I like to ask you is, what would you like to leave with the people before you get out of here today?
What would I like to leave with the people?
Yes.
Uh, Today, because of the kind of day that I had today,
Mm-hmm.
I would say don't focus on the issues and the problems. Focus on how big and great God is.
Ooh,
And if he did it, if he could do it for someone else, he could do it for you. And that you do have purpose.
wow.
That's what I
That's a
will leave
lot.
today.
That's not no small. That's not small. That's a lot. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and share with us today. I am so looking forward to enjoying your book. And I got an autograph copy, y'all. So I'm gonna sit down. While everybody's outside at the Juneteenth celebration, I'm gonna be sitting at home. Where it's nice and cool there because it's supposed to be hot. And I'm gonna be enjoying this book, and I thank you. I appreciate you once again. Shout out to Monica. Shout out to Cassandra. For tuning in and being a spectator watching the show. I just appreciate you guys. And definitely go check her out. Her information is right there on the bottom of the screen where you can go to her website and check out and get all the information. Book yourself a session with her. I think she could tell you something that'll probably, benefit you. I think that'll be great, to find out, something that somebody else that's an observer of you to be able to can tell you that can benefit you. I might have to get a sneak session myself in. I might be a little nervous though. You might tell me something I might not want to hear today. I might have to wait till tomorrow. But anyway, I appreciate you and I thank you. You stay right there. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna switch over here and invite people to come join me on Thursday. Street News Now. We have a show, Six Guys and You, on Street News Network. And I tell you, we broadcast on Facebook, on YouTube every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Definitely come check us out. We're talking about the latest news and events. We definitely always have a good conversation. Also, come and join me every Saturday at 12 noon right here on YouTube from the desk of Dr. Ron. I'm always entertaining questions. If you send me a question, we'll read it on the air and we'll give you an answer. You might not like the answer, but you'll get a chance to get an answer. Okay? And last but not least, I want to encourage everybody to go over to my website, ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, please check out all my advertisers. They help make it possible for us to do what we do here. I thank all those that have made contributions up to this particular point in time. I thank you. Keep on sending your contributions. Please subscribe, like, and share. There's a little subscribe button at the top. You can click on the subscribe button and you'll get a notification every time we go live. So you guys, you all take care, be safe, and we look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. Peace and love.